Hello there, and welcome back to the Sleepy Channel. Tonight, as the world outside settles into its quieter rhythm, as roads dim, rooms soften, and the air hangs a little heavier with night, I invite you to drift with me into a place where the ordinary loosens its grip, and the extraordinary rises gently to the surface. Because the truth is, our world is far stranger, softer, and more mysterious than we usually allow ourselves to notice. Every day, life rushes around us. Notifications, responsibilities, conversations, and beneath that constant noise, a quieter story waits. A story written not by humans, but by the earth itself, by oceans glowing in the dark, by trees that whisper underground, by animals with senses we cannot even imagine, by ancient stones remembering things long before memory existed, and by signals from deep space and deep oceans that science still listens to, but cannot yet explain. Tonight, we enter that softer world together. So take a slow breath, let your shoulders fall, let the pace of the day slip further away with every exhale. You don't need to do anything now. Just listen. Just let the darkness wrap gently around the edges of your mind as you settle in for a journey through 76 of the most calming, curious, and quietly astonishing facts the universe has to offer. We will wander through forests where trees speak in chemical whispers. We'll walk beside oceans that glow under moonlight and meet animals who rewrite their own biology just to survive. We'll travel back to the first spark of life and forward into the mysteries science still cannot unravel. Signals from the stars, strange lights in storms, and that familiar shiver of déjà vu that feels like memory folded in on itself. None of this is fiction. It is the quiet truth of the world you live in, a world far more magical than it appears in daylight. And as you listen, you may feel something soften inside you, a warmth, a looseness, a calm curiosity. That is the night doing its quiet work. That is your mind letting go. So, welcome. Welcome to this peaceful corner of the universe, where your only task is to drift, to breathe, and to let these gentle stories carry you, like small glowing waves across a moonlit sea. Tonight, we explore the most relaxing facts about the strangest wonders of our planet and the soft, mysterious places where science meets dream. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Life that refuses to die. Fact 1. The immortal jellyfish and the art of starting over. Drifting through warm Mediterranean waters is a creature that quietly challenges everything we think we know about life and time. Turritopsis dohrnii, often called the immortal jellyfish, has discovered a biological escape hatch unlike anything else on Earth. Whenever its body is damaged, stressed, or nearing the end of its natural lifespan, it performs a miracle. It transforms backward. Like a butterfly turning back into a caterpillar, the jellyfish reverts to its earliest life stage, rebuilding itself cell by cell. Scientists have witnessed this cycle repeatedly in laboratories, aging, reverting, and beginning again, over and over, theoretically without end. It isn't truly immortal. Predators and accidents can still end its story. But the jellyfish reminds us that even the simplest life forms can hold secrets far beyond human imagination. A quiet biological wisdom that whispers, there is always another beginning. Fact 2. Tardigrades, the smallest survivors of the universe. Under a microscope, tardigrades look soft, wrinkled, even a little clumsy tiny water bears waddling through droplets of mossy water. But their appearance hides a resilience unmatched in the animal kingdom. These microscopic beings can survive boiling heat, extreme cold near absolute zero, intense radiation, crushing pressure, and even the vacuum of outer space. Their secret is a remarkable state called cryptobiosis. When conditions grow harsh, a tardigrade withdraws into itself, curling into a dry, protective shell. Its metabolism slows to nearly nothing, its body becoming a tiny capsule of potential waiting for the world to soften again. Hours, months, even decades later, add water, and it wakes. In 2007, tardigrades were launched into orbit, exposed directly to space. They returned alive. These humble creatures remind us that life can be tougher, quieter, and infinitely more adaptable than we ever imagined, even when drifting among the stars. Fact 3. Frogs that freeze themselves and wake in spring. In the silent forests of North America, a quiet miracle rests beneath layers of snow. The wood frog survives winter, not by fleeing from the cold, but by surrendering to it completely. As temperatures fall, its heart stops beating. Its blood crystallizes into ice. Its organs shut down one by one. By all human definitions, the frog is frozen solid. And yet it lives. Inside its body are natural antifreeze compounds that protect its cells from rupturing. Its tissues can endure the cold without damage, waiting patiently for warmth to return. When spring sunlight melts the world above, the frog thaws. Its heart begins to beat again, slowly at first, then stronger. Muscles soften, lungs expand, and the frog hops away, as though waking from a long and dreamless sleep. This tiny creature shows that survival is not always about strength. Sometimes, it is about stillness, surrender, and the quiet promise of renewal. Fact 4. Insects that sleep through ice and return to life. Winter is unforgiving, especially for small, fragile creatures. Yet some insects have developed a strategy so astonishing it borders on science fiction. Species like the Arctic woolly bear moth can survive being completely frozen for months at a time. Their bodies produce special molecules called cryoprotectants, natural antifreeze that prevents ice crystals from tearing their cells apart. In this frozen state, the insect's heartbeat slows to nothing. It does not move or grow. Time seems to pause. But the creature is not dead, it is waiting. When spring returns and temperatures rise, the ice melts, cryoprotectants dissolve, and life resumes as if winter never happened. These insects endure conditions that would destroy almost anything else, revealing that life's boundaries are far wider than we tend to believe. In their stillness, we see nature's gentle reminder. Even in the coldest seasons, life holds onto the thread of possibility. Fact 5. Starfish that rebuild themselves from loss. Beneath the slow pulse of the ocean, starfish drift across sand and stone, quiet and unhurried. But beneath their simple appearance lies an extraordinary ability. If a predator tears away one of their arms, the starfish does not merely heal, it rebuilds. Over weeks or months, a lost limb grows back, patterned perfectly after the original. Some species go even further. If a fragment of the central disc remains attached to a severed arm, that piece can form an entirely new starfish, an entire being born from a single limb. This power comes from a decentralized nervous system and a reservoir of flexible stem cells, capable of transforming into whatever the starfish needs. In their calm, deliberate regeneration, starfish teach us something profound, that healing need not be rushed, and rebuilding can be a quiet, patient act of becoming whole again. Fact 6. Planarian worms and the secret of perfect regeneration. In shallow ponds and quiet streams, live creatures so simple that they have no lungs, no complex organs, and yet possess one of the most astonishing abilities in the natural world. Planarian flatworms can regenerate their entire bodies from even tiny fragments. Cut one into pieces, and each piece becomes a complete, fully functional worm, complete with a new brain, new organs, and new identity. Their bodies contain a special population of stem cells known as neoblasts, tiny architects capable of transforming into any cell type needed. Whether rebuilding a damaged head or replicating an entire nervous system, planarians perform this biological craftsmanship with silent precision. Scientists study them in hopes of uncovering clues about wound healing and tissue regeneration, insights that may one day help humans repair what is broken. The planarian's gift is a reminder that life thrives not only in strength but in the ability to begin again, endlessly, from almost nothing. Chapter 2. The Secret Minds of Forests. Fact 7. Trees whisper through the wood wide web. Beneath the quiet surface of a forest lies a network so vast and intricate it resembles something out of a dream. Trees, once thought to be solitary organisms, are actually connected by thin fungal threads called mycorrhizae. Through these underground filaments, they send nutrients, relay chemical warnings, and even share carbon with their neighbors. Older, mother trees nourish saplings growing in the shade. A dying trunk might pass its final stored sugars to younger trees before collapsing into the soil. Even unrelated species like birch and fir exchange resources when the other is struggling. This hidden world functions like a biological internet complex, fluid and collaborative. Scientists call it the wood wide web, but the forest doesn't need such names. It simply breathes, listens, and shares. In this underground conversation, we learn a gentle truth. Even rooted beings care for one another in ways we are only beginning to understand. Fact 8. The flower that listens for bees. To us, a flower seems silent, but some blossoms are tuned to a frequency the human ear can't hear: the soft, rapid vibration of a bee's wings. When a pollinator approaches, the petals vibrate subtly, detecting the hum in the air. Within minutes, the flower reacts. It increases the sugar concentration in its nectar, making the reward sweeter and more enticing. The timing is perfect. The bee is nearby and likely to visit soon. This is not hearing in the way animals hear. It is sensing, resonating, responding, a quiet form of awareness woven into the structure of a petal. The flower doesn't think or choose. It simply adapts, adjusting itself to the rhythm of its pollinators. In this gentle dance of vibration and sweetness, we see that even plants hold a kind of presence, listening not with ears but with form, waiting for wings that promise life and future bloom. Fact 9. Carnivorous plants that hunt with patience. Most plants reach for the sun and wait passively for nutrients to arrive through rain and soil. But in nutrient-poor wetlands, some plants choose a different path: they hunt. The Venus flytrap counts tiny footsteps on its leaves, closing only when it detects 2 touches within a short window. Pitcher plants lure insects towards slick edges that lead into pools of digestive liquid. Sundews glisten with sticky droplets that curl slowly around struggling prey. These plants do not chase or pounce. Their power lies in stillness, timing, and precision. Each trap reflects a clever adaptation to environments where nitrogen is scarce, turning patience into a survival strategy. Watching a carnivorous plant is like glimpsing a quiet intelligence, not conscious, but exquisitely tuned to opportunity. Life, even in the gentlest green forms, often hides an unexpected hunger and the ability to turn necessity into art. Fact 10. Leaves are microscopic masterpieces of design. Hold a single leaf to the light, and an entire universe reveals itself. Within its delicate surface lies a branching network of veins, each carrying water, minerals, and sugars along tiny highways. The green pigment chlorophyll captures sunlight with elegant efficiency, turning rays into energy that sustains not only the plant, but the entire living world around it. On the surface are hundreds of stomata, minuscule pores that open and close, allowing carbon dioxide in and oxygen out. Some leaves track the sun as it arcs across the sky. Others repel water so perfectly that droplets bead and roll away. No 2 leaves share the same vein pattern. Each one is unique, shaped by species, environment, and chance. In their quiet symmetry and precision, leaves remind us that beauty does not need boldness. Sometimes it hides in the smallest architecture complex, fragile, and endlessly purposeful. Fact 11. Plants perform math to survive the night. As the sun sets and photosynthesis comes to a halt, a plant faces a delicate problem: how to use its stored energy at just the right pace to last until dawn. Consume too quickly, and it will starve before sunrise. Consume too slowly, and precious energy will remain unused. To solve this, plants divide, not with numbers, but with molecules. They gauge how much starch they have stored during the day, and then calculate how many hours remain until morning. Their internal chemistry adjusts the rate of starch consumption to match the darkness ahead, an elegant biological equation unfolding in silence. This process is astonishingly precise. Even when scientists artificially change night length, plants recalculate their reserves almost instantly. Though they lack awareness, nerves, or thought, they still manage a nightly act of survival. Mathematics proof that nature's intelligence flows through all forms of life, even those rooted in place. Fact 12. The Amazon makes its own rain. The Amazon rainforest is more than a collection of trees. It is a climate engine breathing water into the sky. Each day, billions of leaves release moisture through a process called transpiration. This vapor rises, cools, and gathers into clouds that drift above the canopy before returning as rain. This self-sustaining cycle means that much of the Amazon's rainfall is created by the forest itself. The trees feed the clouds, and the clouds feed the trees. Rivers of vapor move through the atmosphere, influencing weather patterns across an entire continent. But when forests disappear, this delicate balance weakens. With fewer trees exhaling moisture, rainfall decreases, drought spreads, and the land slowly dries. The Amazon is often called the lungs of the earth, but it behaves more like a heart pumping water, breath, and life into the air. A reminder that forests are not passive landscapes, but living systems shaping the world around them. Chapter 3. The glowing heart of Earth's oceans. Fact 13. Oceans that glow in the dark. Imagine standing on a quiet shoreline at night, watching waves roll gently toward your feet, and each one glows. This ethereal blue-green shimmer is not imagination, but biology. Bioluminescent plankton, tiny living sparks, release flashes of cold light whenever they are disturbed. A breaking wave, a swirling hand, even a single water droplet can ignite a brief, magical glow. In places like the Maldives or Mosquito Bay in Puerto Rico, the entire shoreline can become a ribbon of living light stretching into the night. The glow is caused by a chemical reaction inside these plankton, similar to the light of fireflies. Most use it as a defense mechanism, startling predators or signaling danger to others. In the soft swells of darkness, the ocean becomes a canvas painted by tiny drifting artists, each one lighting the world for just a heartbeat. A gentle reminder that wonder exists even in the smallest forms of life. Fact 14. Bioluminescence has evolved over 40 separate times. The ability to make light is not a single invention. It is a story written again and again across Earth's oceans and forests. Bioluminescence has evolved independently at least 40 times, an astonishing number that reveals how useful, versatile, and magical living light can be. From glowing mushrooms in humid forests to deep-sea jellyfish drifting like lanterns in the abyss, the chemistry varies, but the principle remains. An enzyme called luciferase interacts with a light-producing molecule called luciferin, releasing energy as visible light. Some creatures use this glow to attract prey, others to escape predators. Fireflies use it to find mates. Deep-sea animals use it to disappear completely by matching the light filtering above them. In the darkest corners of the world, bioluminescence becomes a universal language, a signal, a warning, or a song, a constellation of living stars in seas where no sunlight can reach. Fact 15. The ocean holds more life than all land combined. We walk on continents, and build our cities on solid ground, yet most of Earth's living mass hides beneath the waves. The ocean, covering more than 70% of our planet, is a vast and intricate world teeming with life. From drifting plankton to immense whales, from coral forests to deep-sea trenches, marine ecosystems hold a richness far greater than anything found on land. A single cup of seawater may contain thousands of organisms, tiny algae, bacteria, viruses, larvae, and more, all forming the invisible foundation of ocean life. Despite our technology, we have explored only a tiny fraction of the deep sea. Much of it remains untouched, mysterious, and filled with creatures that defy expectation. Fish with transparent bodies, glowing lures, or mouths that unfold like curtains in the dark. The ocean is not empty. It is Earth's greatest wilderness, a blue cathedral of life, stretching endlessly beyond our sight. Fact 16. Phytoplankton create over half the oxygen you breathe. While forests capture our imagination, the true engines of Earth's breathable air are far smaller microscopic algae drifting near the ocean's surface. These organisms, called phytoplankton, perform photosynthesis just like plants. They absorb sunlight and carbon dioxide, releasing oxygen into the atmosphere. Despite their size, they are responsible for producing more than half of all the oxygen humans and animals inhale. Every breath you take contains the quiet work of these tiny creatures, floating in sunlit water across the world's oceans. Phytoplankton form the base of the marine food web, feeding krill, fish, and whales. They influence global climate, carbon cycling, ocean currents, and even cloud formation. Invisible from shore, yet everywhere beneath the waves, they remind us that life's most essential gifts often come from places we rarely think about. The ocean breathes with us, one microscopic pulse of light at a time. Fact 17. Coral reefs, cities built by tiny architects. Coral reefs shimmer with color, movement, and life, but their foundation is built by creatures no bigger than a grain of rice. Coral polyps, soft-bodied animals related to jellyfish, live in colonies, extending their tiny tentacles to feed on drifting plankton. Over time, each polyp secretes calcium carbonate, forming a stony skeleton that becomes the reef's structure. As generations stack upon one another, reefs grow into sprawling underwater cities stretching for miles. Within these vibrant stone labyrinths, nearly a quarter of all marine life finds shelter: fish, crustaceans, mollusks, algae, and more. The Great Barrier Reef, for example, is so large it can be seen from space. Yet corals are delicate. A shift in temperature, pollution, or acidity can cause bleaching, turning them ghostly white. Despite their fragility, they stand as one of nature's finest works, vast, living cathedrals shaped by the tiniest hands. Fact 18. The deep sea is an alien world beneath our own. Beneath the sunlit surface lies a realm so strange it feels like another planet. The deep sea begins where light fades to nothing, plunging into black water where pressure becomes immense and temperatures drop near freezing. And yet life thrives. There are fish with lanterns on their heads, shrimp that shoot jets of glowing chemicals, jellyfish that unfold like parachutes of living light. Some creatures are nearly transparent, others armored in plates or sporting jaws wider than their bodies. Near hydrothermal vents, entire ecosystems survive without sunlight, drawing energy from minerals erupting from Earth's crust. Giant tube worms, glowing bacteria, and ghostly crabs gather around hot, mineral-rich plumes like living shadows. We have mapped Mars more thoroughly than our own deep oceans. What we have seen so far is breathtaking. What remains unseen is a reminder that Earth still holds mysteries as vast as any found in the stars. Chapter 4. Origins, Ancient Earth, and the First Sparks of Life. Fact 19. Life may have begun in the dark, not the light. Most of us imagine the first spark of life appearing in a warm, sunlit pool. But many scientists now believe life began far from the reach of sunlight deep beneath the ocean, near hydrothermal vents. These underwater chimneys spew hot, mineral-rich water into frigid darkness, creating sharp chemical gradients. In these environments, simple molecules can gather on mineral surfaces, reacting, folding, and forming more complex structures. The vents provide warmth, energy, and protection from harsh radiation that bombarded early Earth. Around these mineral pillars, entire ecosystems thrive today without sunlight. Giant tube worms, glowing bacteria, and crustaceans that feed on chemical energy instead of light. This hidden world suggests that life did not require a sky or a sunrise. It only needed chemistry, time, and a quiet space to unfold. In the darkness of ancient oceans, the earliest living cells may have taken their very first breath. Fact 20. Stromatolites, Earth's oldest living archives. On the rocky coastlines of Australia and a few rare places in the world, layered mounds rise gently from shallow waters. These are stromatolites, living fossils built by cyanobacteria, the architects of Earth's earliest ecosystems. Some stromatolite formations date back over 3.5 billion years, making them older than most continents. Cyanobacteria trapped sediment, built layered towers, and performed photosynthesis long before plants existed. They released oxygen into the early atmosphere, slowly transforming Earth from a toxic world into the breathable blue planet we know today. For billions of years, stromatolites shaped coastlines, altered oceans, and changed the very chemistry of the sky. Standing before them today is like meeting the ancestors of all life, quiet, patient, and enduring. They whisper the longest story ever told on Earth, written not in words, but in ancient stone stacked gently through ages of sunlight and tide. Fact 21. Sahara was once a green, rain-soaked world. It's hard to imagine that the world's largest hot desert was once covered in lakes, rivers, grasslands, and thriving wildlife. But between 6,000 and 8,000 years ago, the Sahara was alive. Monsoons shifted northward due to subtle changes in Earth's orbit, bringing rainfall that transformed dunes into savannas. Early humans lived by the water's edge, herding cattle, catching fish, and painting artwork on cave walls that still remain depicting giraffes, hippos, and crocodiles. But as the planet's orbit shifted again, the monsoons retreated, lakes dried, grasslands faded, and dunes returned. Within centuries, a vibrant ecosystem quietly transformed into the desert we know today. The Sahara reminds us that Earth is not fixed. It breathes, evolves, and shifts through vast cycles of climate and time. Beneath its sands lie memories of rivers and forests, waiting patiently in silence. Fact 22. Earth has experienced 5 mass extinctions, and life returned every time. Over Earth's deep history, life has been nearly erased not once, but 5 separate times. From volcanic winters to asteroid impacts, from runaway warming to oxygen collapse, each extinction wiped out most of the planet's species. Yet after every catastrophe, life found a way back. Tiny survivors, fish, fungi, microbes, small mammals endured the chaos and began again. Within millions of years, ecosystems rebuilt themselves, often becoming stranger, more diverse, and more beautiful than before. The most dramatic example is the end Permian extinction, when about 90% of species vanished. But from that devastation emerged the ancestors of dinosaurs, and later, birds and mammals. Mass extinctions show that life is not fragile, it is persistent. No matter how dark the world becomes, some spark remains, and from that spark, entire futures can be born. Fact 23. Extremophiles thrive where life should not exist. On boiling volcanic slopes, in acid hot springs, inside glaciers, and even deep within rocks, life has adapted to conditions that seem hostile to existence itself. These organisms, called extremophiles, survive in temperatures hotter than boiling water, in acids strong enough to dissolve metal, or in ice so cold it halts most biological activity. Some feed on sulfur instead of sunlight. Others survive without oxygen. A few live entirely within rock pores kilometers underground, nourished by minerals and chemical reactions. Their existence expands the definition of what life can be. They hint that if life can thrive in Earth's harshest corners, it might also endure on icy moons, underground oceans, or rocky planets orbiting distant stars. Extremophiles are nature's quiet rebels, proof that life is not limited by comfort, but by imagination. Wherever chemistry allows, life will try. Fact: 24 ice ages arrive and disappear in Earth's quiet cycles. Earth's climate has never been steady. Across millions of years, the planet drifts through cycles of warmth and cold, guided by subtle changes in its orbit, tilt, and distance from the Sun. These shifts, called Milankovitch cycles, control the rhythm of ice ages. During glacial periods, massive ice sheets spread across continents, carving mountains, building valleys, and locking water into frozen worlds. Oceans fall, exposing land bridges that reshape the movement of species, including early humans. In warmer interglacial periods like now, ice retreats, seas rise, and ecosystems transform yet again. These cycles remind us that climate is not a static backdrop but a living rhythm. Earth inhales ice and exhales warmth in slow, sweeping breaths across time. We are living in one of its warmer breaths, a brief pause in a much longer story. Chapter 5: Animal Adaptations. Evolution's Quiet Geniuses. Fact: 25 tardigrades, tiny creatures that refuse to die. Less than a millimeter long and soft as a wrinkle in water, tardigrades might seem fragile, but they are among the toughest beings Earth has ever shaped. These water bears can survive temperatures colder than space, heat that would boil a kettle, pressures deep enough to crush submarines, and doses of radiation lethal to most life. Their secret is a state called cryptobiosis. When conditions turn deadly, a tardigrade curls into a dry husk called a tun, shutting down nearly all biological activity. In this suspended form, they wait sometimes for decades until water returns. Then, like a tiny resurrection, they rehydrate and continue life as if nothing happened. They've survived exposure to outer space, vacuum, and intense cosmic radiation. The tardigrade is Earth's quiet promise that resilience can exist in the smallest, softest bodies, fragile in appearance, infinite in endurance. Fact: 26 octopuses can rewrite their own biology. Drifting through the dim ocean like living dreams, octopuses already challenge our understanding of intelligence. But hidden within their cells lies an ability even more astonishing. They can rewrite the instructions of their own RNA. Most animals, including humans, translate DNA into proteins using a fixed script, but octopuses can edit this code on the fly, adjusting how their neurons function, how they perceive temperature, and how they respond to their environment. This editing doesn't change their genetic blueprint. Instead, it allows flexible expression, a biological software update applied in real time. In cold waters, they may edit certain neural proteins to keep signaling fast and precise. In stress or shifting conditions, they tweak the molecular machinery that shapes their senses. This ability adds another layer to their alien mystique: shape-shifting skin, problem-solving minds, and now, dynamic internal code. The octopus is evolution's quiet experiment in redefining possibility. Fact: 27. Naked mole rats defy aging itself. Deep beneath African savannas, naked mole rats tunnel through darkness in colonies that resemble insect societies more than mammalian families. But their strange appearance hides an even stranger truth. they seem to ignore the usual rules of aging. Most mammals experience increased mortality with age. Disease rises, cells fail, systems weaken, but naked mole rats maintain astonishingly stable health for decades. A 5-year-old mole rat is physiologically similar to a 5-year-old one. Its cells resist decay, its proteins remain stable, and its risk of death barely increases. They tolerate extremely low oxygen, resist cancer, and possess pain insensitivity for certain stimuli. Their social structure with a single breeding queen resembles a miniature underground kingdom. Scientists study them, hoping to unlock secrets of longevity, disease resistance, and cellular resilience. In their quiet tunnels, these wrinkled creatures carry biological keys that may one day help us all age a little more gently. Fact 28: Kangaroos pause pregnancy to time birth with nature. In the shifting heat of the Australian outback, survival depends on timing. Kangaroos have mastered this rhythm with a remarkable ability. They can pause the development of their embryos. When food is scarce, drought looms, or another joey occupies the pouch, a mother kangaroo places her newest embryo into embryonic diapause, a biological pause button. The tiny embryo stops developing sometimes for months until conditions improve. A single mother may juggle 3 offspring at once: a joey outside the pouch, a younger one inside, and a paused embryo waiting for its moment. When the pouch becomes free or the rains return, the embryo resumes growth as if no time has passed. This strategy ensures survival in a land where conditions swing between abundance and scarcity. For kangaroos, time is not fixed. It's something the body can bend, hold, and release with graceful instinct. Fact 29: Some frogs freeze solid and still return to life. As winter descends across northern forests, wood frogs undergo a transformation that seems impossible. They freeze, not partially, completely. Their hearts stop, blood turns to ice, and organs shut down. Yet they do not die. Special antifreeze-like compounds flood their cells, preventing ice crystals from piercing delicate membranes. While 70% of their body water freezes solid, the cells themselves remain intact, suspended in icy stillness. For weeks or even months, these frogs lie frozen beneath leaf litter, their bodies motionless and silent. When spring warmth returns, the ice thaws, blood flows, hearts beat, eyes open, and the frogs hop away as though waking from a deep, ancient dream. This natural cryogenic survival astonishes scientists who study it in hopes of better preserving human tissue. In a world that sleeps through winter, the wood frog becomes a small, beating miracle of renewal. Fact 30: Ice fish survive Antarctic waters with blood like no other. In the freezing blackness beneath Antarctic ice, most fish would perish. But ice fish drift gracefully through waters cold enough to freeze blood solid. Their secret lies within the blood itself. Unlike other vertebrates, ice fish lack hemoglobin and red blood cells. Their blood is nearly clear, carrying oxygen dissolved directly into plasma. To prevent freezing, they produce antifreeze proteins that cling to ice crystals, stopping them from growing. Their hearts pump constantly, circulating this pale fluid through bodies adapted to slow, cold survival. These fish thrive in temperatures that would turn other animals stiff within minutes. Their biology is stripped down, efficient, and tuned to silence. Drifting through Antarctic shadows, they embody a harsh yet delicate elegance, life shaped by the cold, alive where warmth never comes. Chapter 6: Nature's Hidden Intelligence. Minds beyond our own. Fact 31: Elephants grieve and remember with extraordinary emotion. Among the sunlit savannas, elephants carry a depth of feeling that rivals our own. When they encounter the bones of a fallen relative, they slow their steps, extend their trunks, and linger in a gesture that feels unmistakably tender. Some return to the same spot years later, touching the remains as though acknowledging a memory that never faded. When a member of the herd becomes weak or nears death, others stand guard, refusing to leave even as predators circle nearby. Their grief may not mirror human sorrow exactly, but it is undeniably present, filled with recognition, connection, and something that looks like love. They form lifelong bonds, remember old companions, and navigate their world with emotional intelligence shaped over millions of years. Elephants remind us that empathy is not a human invention. It is a language older than words, shared softly between beings who know how to feel. Fact 32: dolphins have names and use them. Beneath the shimmering blue of the ocean, dolphins speak in whistles, clicks, and echoes, weaving a complex acoustic world. Among these sounds is something unique: their names. Each dolphin develops a signature whistle early in life, a sound pattern that functions much like a personal ID. Other dolphins remember these whistles for years and use them to call out to individuals across vast distances. When researchers play a dolphin its own signature call, the animal responds instantly, just as a person might turn when hearing their name spoken across a room. This ability suggests a sophisticated sense of identity, memory, and social awareness previously believed to be mostly human. In pods that shift and reunite across miles of open sea, these names help maintain relationships, coordinate travel, and recognize friends. In the deep, dolphins don't just communicate. They acknowledge one another. Fact 33: parrots can outsmart toddlers in logic and language. Colorful and lively, parrots often appear playful, but beneath their feathers lies remarkable intelligence. Some species, like the African gray parrot, can understand numbers, shapes, colors, and even concepts like same and different. One famous parrot, Alex, shocked scientists by using words to identify objects, count items, and answer questions with accuracy comparable to a young child. He didn't just mimic, he understood. In the wild, parrots use their intelligence to solve problems, navigate social hierarchies, remember food locations, and even use tools. Their brains, though small, are densely packed with neurons arranged in ways that rival primates. When a parrot speaks, it is often thinking, choosing, expressing. Their voices are echoes of a mind that observes and adapts. Parrots remind us that brilliance can take wing, that intelligence does not belong only to large brains but to curious ones. Fact 34: bees understand zero, a concept many animals cannot grasp. They buzz, they pollinate, they gather nectar, but bees also do math. In controlled experiments, bees learn to associate fewer shapes with a sweet reward. When presented with a blank card containing 0 shapes, they consistently recognized it as less than cards with 1 or more symbols. This means bees understand the abstract concept of nothing, a cognitive milestone shared with humans, apes, dolphins, and some birds. The fact that such a tiny brain can grasp such an advanced idea challenges long-held assumptions about intelligence. Inside a hive, bees perform complex tasks, navigating vast distances, communicating with dances, allocating labor, and adapting to environmental changes. But the idea that a creature weighing less than a raindrop can conceptualize 0 adds a new layer to their mystery. Small body, small brain, but astonishing capacity. In the quiet hum of a hive, mathematics takes flight. Fact 35: crows plan for the future and solve multi-step problems. In forests and cities, crows watch the world with sharp, calculating eyes. Members of the corvid family, they possess foresight rare in the animal kingdom. Crows have been observed saving tools they will need later, hiding food in secure places, and even trading objects for rewards. In experiments, they consistently choose a less appealing treat in the moment if it means gaining something better in the future. They craft hooks from twigs, bend wires into new shapes, and understand cause and effect at a level comparable to great apes. Some even remember human faces, friendly or threatening, for years. Crows don't merely react to the present. They imagine the future. Their intelligence is not loud or boastful but quiet, feathered, and observant, a dark silhouette perched above the world, thinking in ways we are only beginning to understand. Fact 36. Monkeys use medicine, nature's first pharmacists. High in forest canopies, where leaves sway like pages in a quiet library, some monkeys have learned to heal themselves with plants. Chimpanzees swallow rough leaves whole to scrape parasites from their intestines. Others chew bitter herbs known to have antibacterial or antiparasitic properties. These behaviors appear only when the animals are sick, proof that they understand the difference between food and medicine. Some smear crushed plants onto wounds, reducing infection. Others seek out bark or shoots that relieve stomach discomfort or fever. This practice, called zoopharmacognosy, blurs the line between instinct and knowledge. It suggests that long before humans learned herbal medicine, animals were already experimenting with remedies written into the landscape. A monkey treating its own illness is more than behavior, it is wisdom whispered through evolution, a quiet intelligence shaped by survival and memory. Chapter 7. The Secret Life of Forests and Plants. Fact 37. Trees whisper through an underground internet. Beneath the stillness of a forest floor lies a hidden network, older and more intricate than any human invention. Trees are connected by delicate fungal threads known as mycorrhizae filaments, so fine they resemble strands of breath. Through this underground web, trees exchange nutrients, share water, and send signals when danger approaches. Older trees, sometimes called mother trees, funnel sugars to their saplings, strengthening them in times of stress. In drought, some trees send warnings through chemical pulses, allowing neighbors to prepare. Insect attacks can ripple through the network like whispered alerts. This system is not conscious, yet it behaves with surprising cooperation. Forest as community, not individuals. A birch may support a fir. A dying tree may pass on its last resources. It is a quiet wisdom woven into the soil, reminding us that life beneath our feet is busy, generous, and alive in ways we rarely imagine. Fact 38. Leaves are masterpieces of microscopic engineering. Hold a leaf up to sunlight, and you're looking at one of nature's most elegant designs. Each leaf is a living machine, soft to the touch, but built with exquisite precision. Inside it lies a branching network of veins delivering water, minerals, and sugars to every corner. Tiny pores, called stomata, open and close like microscopic valves, balancing gas exchange with moisture loss. Chlorophyll absorbs sunlight and turns it into energy, not just for the leaf, but for nearly all life on Earth. Some leaves track the sun, angling themselves for maximum efficiency. Others repel water, store heat, or trap insects. No two leaves are exactly alike. Each carries a unique pattern shaped by wind, light, and life. In every leaf is a blueprint of resilience, a perfect union of beauty and function, silent miracles we rarely stop to see. Fact 39. Some plants eat animals to survive. We often imagine plants as gentle and still, reaching quietly for sunlight. But in nutrient-poor environments, some plants turn from photosynthesizers into hunters. The Venus flytrap counts the footsteps of its prey, snapping shut only after precise touches. Pitcher plants lure insects into deep, slippery chambers filled with digestive fluid, where escape becomes impossible. Sundews glisten with sticky tentacles that curl around unwary insects, slowly drawing them in, like patient arms. These behaviors evolved not out of malice but necessity. These plants grow where nitrogen is scarce, and insects provide the missing nutrients. Even a small bug becomes a feast that fuels growth. Carnivorous plants remind us that survival takes many forms. Even among gentle green leaves, Hunger is a powerful force, and sometimes the forest's quietest beings reveal the sharpest strategies. Fact 40. Plants can hear the buzz of bees. A meadow may look silent, but many flowers are listening. Certain plants respond to the sound of bees' wings, vibrating when they detect specific frequencies. Within minutes, they increase the sweetness of their nectar, offering a richer reward precisely when a pollinator is nearby. The flower has no ears, no nervous system, yet its petals act like sensors tuning into vibrations that carry valuable information. This acoustic awareness is astonishing, a quiet dialogue between bee and bloom. The bee calls with its buzz, and the flower answers with sweetness. It's a perfect partnership built not on thought, but on the elegant chemistry of survival. In these tiny exchanges, we glimpse the sensory abilities of plants, subtle, invisible, and more complex than we ever imagined. Fact 41. Plants warn each other through the air. When a caterpillar begins chewing on a leaf, the plant under attack sends out airborne signals, chemical molecules, that drift through the breeze, like invisible whispers. Nearby plants detect these cues and immediately strengthen their defenses, producing bitter compounds, toxins, or tougher tissues. Different threats trigger different signals. A fungus attack produces one chemical, an insect invasion, another. Though plants have no brains, no nerves, their responses are incredibly precise. This communication likely evolved to protect genetically related neighbors' offspring, clones, or members of the same patch. Walk through a forest, and you are surrounded by conversations you cannot hear. Leaves warn leaves, roots signal roots, and the air hums softly with chemical information. The garden is not silent. It is alive with quiet, intelligent responses to danger. Fact 42. The Amazon rainforest makes its own rain. The Amazon is more than a forest. It is an atmospheric engine. Every day, billions of trees release moisture into the air through the process of transpiration. As sunlight warms the canopy, water vapor rises, cools, and condenses into clouds. Those clouds drift, gather, and fall again as rain, feeding the very forest that created them. This cycle is so vast and self-sustaining that the Amazon generates much of its own weather. The forest regulates temperatures, shapes wind patterns, and influences rainfall across entire continents, even affecting climates an ocean away. When large swaths of trees are lost, the cycle weakens. Less moisture rises, fewer clouds form, and drought expands. The Amazon is sometimes called the lungs of the earth, but it is also its beating heart pumping water into the sky, returning it as rain, sustaining life in a cycle older than civilization. Chapter 8. Ancient Earth, Extinctions, and the Planet's Ever-Changing Story. Fact 43. Oxygen was once Earth's most dangerous poison. The air you breathe today, life-giving, familiar, was once a lethal threat. Over 2 billion years ago, Earth's atmosphere contained almost no oxygen. Early microbial life thrived in this oxygen-free world, feeding on chemical energy in oceans dark and still. Then a new organism appeared, cyanobacteria. Through photosynthesis, they released oxygen as waste. At first, levels were low, but gradually, over millions of years, the gas accumulated. For the anaerobes that dominated the planet, oxygen was catastrophic. It corroded their cells and disrupted ancient metabolisms. The result was the Great Oxidation Event, a mass extinction, unlike anything before. Yet, from this destruction came opportunity. Oxygen enabled new biochemical pathways, powering the evolution of complex life, movement, and eventually consciousness. Your every breath is a quiet reminder of this transformation. A gas that once suffocated life now sustains it, proof that Earth's catastrophes can become creation stories. Fact 44. Life has survived 5 mass extinctions. Across Earth's 4.5 billion-year history, Life has endured 5 catastrophic mass extinctions, events so severe they erased most species alive at the time. Volcanoes darkened skies. Asteroids carved oceans into fire. Climates shifted violently. The worst of them all, the Permian extinction, wiped out over 90% of marine species and 70% of those on land. Imagine an entire world falling silent, leaving only a few survivors in scattered refuges. But life did not end. With each extinction came renewal, new lineages, new ecosystems, new possibilities. Dinosaurs rose after one extinction and fell to another. Mammals, once small and quiet, flourished in the aftermath. Every creature alive today descends from beings that endured these global catastrophes. Life is not fragile, it is persistent. Through darkness, fire, and silence, it evolves, adapts, and begins again. We are all children of survivors. Fact 45. The Sahara Desert was once a lush green paradise. Today, the Sahara stretches across northern Africa like an endless golden ocean, dry, hot, and nearly silent. But only 6,000 to 8,000 years ago, it was a world transformed. Rain fell regularly. Lakes shimmered under warm skies. Rivers carved paths through grasslands where elephants, giraffes, crocodiles, and early humans lived side by side. Cave paintings still show this forgotten world: animals grazing, humans swimming, life flourishing in places now barren. This green Sahara existed because Earth's orbit shifted subtly, strengthening seasonal monsoons. But over time, the rains retreated, and the desert returned, swallowing forests and lakes in waves of sand. Beneath those sands lie ancient shorelines, fossilized trees, and buried evidence of what once was. The Sahara is not a wasteland, it is a memory. A reminder that landscapes change, and that even the harshest deserts were once alive with water and sound. Fact 46. Wolves once changed the shape of rivers. When wolves were reintroduced to Yellowstone National Park in the 1992, something extraordinary happened far beyond what anyone predicted. With wolves back on the land, deer populations fell and, more importantly, changed their behavior. They stopped overgrazing riverbanks, allowing young trees and shrubs to grow again. Vegetation returned. Birds followed. Beavers built new dams. As plant life strengthened river edges, erosion decreased. Banks stabilized. Water channels narrowed and slowed. The landscape reshaped itself. This phenomenon, a trophic cascade, showed how a single species can influence an entire ecosystem, from plants to predators, to the very flow of water. Wolves, simply by existing, restored balance. Their presence revealed a truth we often forget. Nature is an intricate web, where even one thread can hold rivers steady and forests whole. Fact 47. Stromatolites, Earth's earliest architects. Long before trees, before fish, before even the oxygen we breathe, Earth belonged to microorganisms. Among the oldest evidence of life are stromatolites, layered rock-like structures built by cyanobacteria over 3.5 billion years ago. These ancient microbes trapped and bound sediment, slowly creating domed structures in warm, shallow seas. As they photosynthesized, they released oxygen tiny breath by tiny breath, gradually transforming the atmosphere. Stromatolites are the quiet crafters of the early world, architects without eyes or tools. Their oxygen paved the way for everything from insects to humans. Today, living stromatolites can still be found in remote waters, such as Shark Bay, Australia. Looking at them is like peering into time itself, a window into the infancy of life. When Earth was young and biology was just beginning to write its long, astonishing story. Fact 48. The Earth breathes through the carbon cycle. Though the planet may seem solid and still, Earth has its own slow, ancient heartbeat. One of its deepest rhythms is the carbon cycle. Carbon moves through air, oceans, plants, animals, rocks, and back again in a flow that spans seasons, centuries, and geological ages. When you breathe out, you release carbon dioxide. Plants take it in, forming leaves, stems, and roots. Animals eat those plants. Decomposers break them down. Volcanoes emit carbon. Oceans absorb it. Some of it becomes limestone or fossil fuels. Some returns to the sky. This cycle regulates climate, shapes ecosystems, and supports life. But today, it is out of balance, tilted by human activity. Understanding it reveals a profound truth. Earth is not a static sphere. It is a living system. Every inhale and exhale echoes a global cycle that has been turning since long before humans walked the land. Chapter 9: Oceans, Currents, and the Mysteries Beneath the Waves. Fact 49: Some oceans glow in the dark. On certain nights, the shoreline comes alive with light. Waves crash in eerie blue-green flashes. Footprints shimmer on wet sand. And every movement sends ripples of glow across the tide. This isn't magic, it's bioluminescence, created by microscopic plankton that emit light when disturbed. When a wave curls or a swimmer moves through the water, millions of these plankton ignite like tiny stars. Unlike reflected moonlight, this glow comes from a chemical reaction similar to that of fireflies. In places like Mosquito Bay in Puerto Rico or the glowing beaches of the Maldives, entire coastlines look like galaxies spilled across the sea. Bioluminescence evolved many times for different reasons: communication, camouflage, hunting. In the quiet dark of the ocean, life doesn't disappear. It shines. Each spark is a reminder that even in Earth's deepest night, something is always glowing back. Fact 50: Whales sing across entire oceans. Deep beneath the surface, where sunlight dies and pressure rises, whales create some of the most haunting sounds on Earth. Blue whales and fin whales produce low-frequency calls so powerful they can travel thousands of miles, crossing ocean basins. These songs help whales communicate, navigate, and find mates. Each population has its own dialect, a kind of cultural fingerprint passed from generation to generation. Humpback whales weave long, evolving melodies, adding new phrases each year, as though composing music with the sea itself. We don't fully understand what every sound means, but we know they matter deeply. In the vast silence of the ocean, voices travel farther than light. Somewhere beyond the horizon, a whale may be listening to another whale it has never seen, connected only by sound drifting through darkness. The ocean is not quiet, it hums with ancient song. Fact 51: Coral reefs are built by tiny animal architects. Beneath turquoise water lies one of the most vibrant worlds on Earth. Coral reefs, bustling cities built not by stone or machines, but by countless tiny animals called polyps. Each polyp secretes calcium carbonate, slowly building stony structures that accumulate over centuries. Layer by layer, these structures rise into reefs that can stretch for miles. Inside their branching forms, an explosion of life thrives. Fish, crustaceans, mollusks, sea turtles, and more. Though reefs cover less than 1% of the ocean floor, they support nearly a quarter of all marine species. Their colors come from symbiotic algae living inside the coral, providing energy through photosynthesis and glowing in brilliant patterns. But reefs are delicate. Temperature shifts, pollution, and acidification can cause corals to bleach and die. They are reminders of both nature's creativity and its fragility. Vast underwater cities built by soft, unseen hands. Fact 52: The deep sea is filled with creatures stranger than fiction. Far below the surface, beyond where light can reach, lies the deep ocean, a realm so alien we've explored more of the moon than its floor. Here, pressure is enough to crush steel, temperatures hover near freezing, and darkness is eternal. Yet life flourishes. Giant squid, with dinner plate eyes, drift through shadows. Anglerfish lure prey with glowing lanterns. Transparent predators glide like ghosts. Crabs walk with spindly, mechanical grace. Some creatures rely on chemosynthesis, feeding off chemicals from hydrothermal vents instead of sunlight. Others glow with shifting colors, creating drifting constellations in black water. Every expedition uncovers species never seen before: ribbon-fin fish, gelatinous floating discs, glowing worms. The deep sea is Earth's last great wilderness, vast, silent, and filled with life so strange it seems imagined. But it's real, waiting in the dark, breathing slowly beneath the waves. Fact 53. A single drop of seawater contains thousands of life forms. Dip your fingers into the ocean, and you touch a universe. In just one drop of seawater, there may be thousands, sometimes millions of microscopic organisms: plankton, algae, bacteria, larvae, viruses, and translucent shapes that look like drifting jewels. Some are photosynthetic engines producing oxygen. Others are tiny predators hunting even smaller prey. Together, they form the foundation of the marine food web, feeding krill, fish, whales, and entire ecosystems. They also regulate climate, influence carbon cycles, and shape the chemistry of oceans and air. Most of these creatures are invisible to us, too small to notice, yet they sustain the planet in ways that giants cannot. A drop of water is not empty, it is crowded with life. Hold one droplet to the light, and you are holding the greatest wilderness on Earth, condensed into something that rests quietly on your skin. Fact 54. The ocean holds more life than all land combined. We live on land, but life belongs to the sea. The ocean covers more than 70% of Earth's surface and contains the overwhelming majority of the planet's biomass. From drifting plankton to the largest animals ever known, blue whales, marine life thrives in endless forms. From the sunlit surface to the pitch-black deep, coasts teem with coral reefs. Kelp forests sway like underwater cathedrals. Open waters pulse with migrating giants. Even the deepest trenches host ecosystems untouched by sunlight yet rich with life. A single whale fall a whale's body after death can support entire communities for decades. We often imagine Earth as green, but in truth, its greatest wilderness is blue. Most of the planet's stories are written in salt water, far beyond the horizon, where currents flow like veins and life rises, falls, and rises again in the rhythm of the tide. Chapter 10. The Micro-World. Hidden Kingdoms and Life at the Edge of Possibility. Fact 55. Your body is more microbe than human. You walk through the world as one person, but you are also a vast living community. Your body contains more microbial cells than human ones, trillions of bacteria, fungi, archaea, and viruses living on your skin, in your mouth, and deep within your gut. This collective is called the microbiome, and it is not simply a passenger. It helps digest food, produces vitamins, trains your immune system, shapes your metabolism, and even influences your mood and behavior. Some microbes fight harmful invaders. Others form delicate partnerships with your cells, communicating through chemical signals. And just like fingerprints, no two microbiomes are the same. Each human carries a unique microbial signature. You are not alone, and you never have been. Within you, an entire ecosystem hums softly, balancing, repairing, adapting. A world within a world, working quietly every moment of your life. Fact 56. Viruses can be beneficial, not just harmful. We often think of viruses only as threats, agents of illness and fear. But the truth is more complex and far more surprising. Some viruses attack harmful bacteria in your gut, helping maintain microbial balance. Others insert helpful DNA into genomes, offering traits that organisms could never evolve on their own. In fact, roughly 8% of the human genome comes from ancient viral DNA remnants of infections that occurred in distant ancestors. Some of these viral genes are essential today, supporting placenta formation, immune defense, and even parts of brain development. Viruses are not simply invaders, they are ancient architects, shaping evolution from the shadows. They blur the line between harm and help, destruction and creation. Tiny threads woven into the story of life, carrying memories of forgotten battles and unexpected gifts. Fact 57. Some microbes thrive in boiling acid pools. At volcanic springs where water boils, steam rises, and acid simmers, life should be impossible. And yet, extremophiles' specialized microbes survive and even flourish there. In places like Yellowstone's hot springs or Ethiopia's Danakil Depression, temperatures soar above boiling, and the pH is as acidic as battery fluid. These microbes draw energy not from sunlight, but from sulfur, iron, or minerals, using chemosynthesis to power their tiny cells. Their proteins resist unraveling in heat. Their membranes remain stable in acid. Their DNA is protected by molecular shields. These organisms resemble what early life on Earth may have been: tough, adaptable, and fearless. If life can survive here, it may survive on other planets too. In the harshest places on Earth, extremophiles whisper a timeless message: where conditions allow, life will try. Fact 58. Microbes can eat plastic. Plastic was once considered eternal, immune to decay, destined to linger for centuries. But life, persistent as ever, found a way. Scientists have discovered bacteria and fungi capable of breaking down certain plastics, including PET, commonly used in bottles and packaging. These microbes produce enzymes that chew through polymer chains, turning them into simpler molecules they can absorb as food. This process is slow, but astonishingly efficient. Some species were found thriving in landfills. Others live in soil, oceans, or even the guts of insects that feed on plastic waste. These discoveries offer hope for cleaner futures: biological recycling inspired by nature's quiet genius. Even in the ruins we create, life adapts, seeking opportunity, discovering new niches, and reminding us that nothing is truly permanent. Fact 59. Seeds are time travelers waiting to wake. Seeds may look lifeless, tiny, dry shells tucked into soil, but inside each one is a blueprint for life wrapped in astonishing patience. Some seeds can lie dormant for decades or centuries, waiting for the perfect combination of moisture, warmth, and light. The oldest seed ever successfully germinated was a 2,000-year-old date palm, found in an archaeological site and coaxed back to life in modern times. During dormancy, seeds slow metabolism to nearly zero. Protective coats shield them from heat, cold, or decay. When conditions finally shift, the seed awakens. Cells divide, roots emerge, and ancient life rises into sunlight. In every seed is a compact miracle, a tiny heartbeat paused, a future folded into silence, waiting for the right moment to unfold. Fact 60. Lichens are two creatures living as one. Clinging to rocks, branches, and mountain cliffs, lichens appear simple, just patches of crust or leafy growth. But each one is a partnership, a fungus joined with algae or cyanobacteria. The fungus provides structure, moisture, and shelter. The algal partner performs photosynthesis, feeding both. This blended organism is more resilient than either partner alone, able to survive Arctic tundra, scorching deserts, and high-altitude peaks. Some lichens are centuries old, others slowly break down rock, creating the first layers of soil in barren landscapes. The relationship isn't always gentle. Sometimes the fungus dominates, shaping the algae into compliance. Yet together they endure, thriving in places few organisms can. Lichens remind us that survival often begins with cooperation, two beings merging into one, creating a union stronger than the sum of its parts. Chapter 11. Extraordinary Bodies, Nature's Most Surprising Designs. Fact 61. Some fish can walk on land. At the fragile boundary between sea and shore, evolution experiments boldly. The mudskipper is one of its strangest creations, a fish that spends much of its life out of water. With strong pectoral fins, it walks across mudflats, climbs roots, and even clings to mangrove branches. It breathes through its skin and mouth lining, provided it stays moist. The climbing perch goes even further, surviving hours or days on land by gulping air and crawling short distances in search of new waters. Eels sometimes slither across wet grass to migrate between streams. These behaviors echo one of Earth's greatest evolutionary transitions, the ancient moment when fins became limbs and life stepped onto land. Watching a mudskipper scurry or a climbing perch crawl is like seeing history reenacted in miniature life testing its boundaries. One breath, one step, one slippery journey at a time. Fact 62. Fire ants build rafts out of their own bodies. When floods rise and water sweeps across the land, fire ants cling together in astonishing unity. Thousands lock legs and mandibles, forming a living raft, flexible, buoyant, and nearly impossible to sink. Air trapped between their bodies keeps the colony afloat for weeks, protecting the queen and larvae. If waves crash or currents pull, the raft shifts shape, redistributing weight instantly. No leader commands this structure. It emerges from simple rules followed by each ant instinct weaving individuals into a single organism. These floating colonies drift until they reach dry land, then disassemble seamlessly as each ant rejoins the march. In chaos, they create order. In danger, they become one. Their rafts are not just survival tactics, they're living machines, built of cooperation and resilience, a quiet testament to the power of collective instinct. Fact 63. Sea cucumbers can turn their bodies into liquid. On the ocean floor, the unassuming sea cucumber hides an extraordinary talent. It can liquefy itself. By altering the proteins in its connective tissue, it shifts from firm and solid to almost gelatinous in seconds. This allows it to slip into cracks for safety or ooze through tight crevices where predators cannot follow. Some species can even expel their internal organs as a defense mechanism, sticky threads or toxic structures, confusing predators while the cucumber quietly escapes. Over time, it regrows the lost organs, whole and functional once more. This isn't magic but biology at its most flexible. The sea cucumber is a living reminder that firmness and softness are choices written into the body, and that survival often belongs to those who can change their shape without fear. Fact 64. Starfish can regrow their arms and sometimes their whole body. In the gentle sway of the tide, the starfish moves calmly across sand and coral. But beneath its slow grace lies a remarkable power: regeneration. If a predator tears off one of its arms, the starfish simply grows another. Some species can take regeneration even further. An entire starfish can regrow from a single severed limb, as long as part of the central disc remains. Their bodies contain distributed nerve networks and specialized stem cells that rebuild muscle, nerves, and organs with patient precision. Starfish have no brain, yet they perform complex healing that surpasses many animals. Scientists study them to understand how regeneration might one day help humans heal spinal injuries or regrow tissues. The starfish's quiet message is simple: what is broken can be rebuilt. Fact 65. Platypuses lay eggs but produce milk. In the rivers of Australia swims one of evolution's most curious creatures, the platypus. With the bill of a duck, the body of an otter, and the tail of a beaver, it seems stitched together from spare parts. Yet every trait serves a purpose. Platypuses are monotremes, one of the few mammals that lay eggs instead of giving live birth. Their young hatch hairless and fragile, and instead of nipples, the mother secretes milk through pores in her skin. The babies lap it directly from her fur. Males possess venomous spurs on their hind legs, a rare trait among mammals. While hunting underwater, platypuses close their eyes, ears, and nostrils, relying entirely on electroreception in their bills to sense the faint electrical signals of prey. Strange yet elegant, the platypus is a living relic of ancient mammalian evolution, quietly paddling through streams like a creature from a forgotten chapter of time. Fact: 66 chameleons change color to communicate emotion. Chameleons are known for their shifting colors, but camouflage tells only part of the story. Their color changes are deeply tied to mood, temperature, and social interactions. A calm chameleon may appear muted greens or browns. In moments of excitement, confrontation, or courtship, it bursts into vibrant yellows, brilliant blues, or fiery reds. They achieve this through microscopic crystals in their skin that reflect light differently as they shift position. Structural coloration, not pigment. These signals help them communicate warnings, invitations, dominance, or submission without uttering a sound. When a chameleon transforms, it is speaking in color, a language of emotion written across its skin. An ever-changing canvas, painting the forest with silent messages that shimmer between light and shadow. Chapter 12. Senses beyond human perception. Fact: 67 birds navigate the earth, using invisible magnetic maps. High above forests and oceans, migratory birds travel thousands of kilometers with astonishing precision. Even on moonless nights or during storms, they stay on course, guided by a sense humans cannot experience: magnetoreception. Inside a bird's eye, specialized proteins may allow them to see magnetic fields as faint visual patterns, blue or yellow glows guiding their flight. Another theory suggests tiny particles of magnetite in their beaks help them sense Earth's magnetic pull like an internal compass. Whichever mechanism they use, the result is extraordinary. Birds return to the same tree, the same branch, even the same nest year after year, crossing continents with silent confidence. To them, the invisible forces of Earth are not mysteries, they are landmarks. While we rely on GPS, they follow the planet itself, navigating by a map written in the air, the sky, and the quiet hum of the magnetic field. Fact: 68 snakes can see heat from living bodies. In the stillness of night, pit vipers, pythons, and boas possess a sense that borders on supernatural. Below their eyes sit tiny pits, hollow organs that detect infrared radiation, the heat emitted by warm-blooded animals. To a viper, a mouse in the dark glows like a lantern. This thermal vision lets snakes hunt with pinpoint accuracy even in absolute darkness. They can strike prey mid-motion, guided not by sight or sound but by temperature alone. The pits are so sensitive they can detect heat changes as small as a fraction of a degree. To humans, darkness hides shapes. To snakes, it reveals them. This sense evolved not for cruelty, but for survival, a quiet adaptation that turns night into a world of warm silhouettes drifting across a cold background. Fact: 69 owls fly without making a sound. When an owl sweeps across the night sky, it moves with a silence so deep it seems unreal. Its feathers hold the secret. The leading edges are serrated like tiny combs, breaking air into softer currents. The velvety surface of each feather absorbs sound, preventing turbulence. Even the trailing edges are fringed, smoothing airflow as wings glide. This sophisticated structure muffles almost every whisper of motion, allowing owls to approach prey without warning. A mouse may hear wind, leaves, distant rustling, but never the owl itself. In laboratories, even sensitive microphones struggle to detect the sound of an owl in flight. Silent flight gives them an evolutionary advantage. and transforms the night into their private hunting ground. They are the quiet ghosts of the forest felt, but never heard. Fact 70. Bats build worlds from sound alone. Bats thrive in a world without light. Their superpower is echolocation, a biological sonar system. They emit high-frequency calls too high for human ears to hear and listen for echoes bouncing off objects around them. Every echo paints a piece of the world: distance, size, texture, movement. To a bat, a mosquito is not invisible. It is a vibrating map of sound waves. Some species can distinguish insect wing beats. Others detect the slightest change in airflow. In total darkness, bats create a three-dimensional image brighter than sight, not with eyes, but with ears. Their minds process echoes in milliseconds, building a living acoustic sculpture of caves, trees, fruits, and prey. Sound becomes vision, silence becomes landscape, and the night becomes a canvas drawn by whispers returned through the air. Fact 71. Sharks detect heartbeats through electric fields. In the vast blue silence, sharks navigate using a sensory system unmatched in the animal world. Around their snouts lie clusters of gel-filled pores called ampullae of Lorenzini, capable of detecting tiny electrical signals. Every living creature generates electricity, a heartbeat, a muscle twitch, even the faint charge across skin. Sharks can sense these signals from meters away, even when the prey is hiding under sand or remaining perfectly still. They can detect a billionth of a volt, so sensitive it's like feeling a single AA battery in the ocean from miles away. This electric sense also helps them navigate Earth's magnetic field, guiding long migrations. To sharks, the ocean is alive with invisible currents of electricity, each one a clue, a pulse, a heartbeat, a whisper of movement beneath the waves. Fact 72. Plants can see light, direction, color, and even shadows. Though rooted and silent, plants possess a sensory system far more refined than it appears. They detect the direction of sunlight, adjusting their growth toward or away from it. They sense color: too blue for growth, red for flowering, far red for shade. Some even distinguish the shadows of nearby plants, triggering competitive or defensive growth strategies. Plants also perceive day length, temperature shifts, and gravity, all through specialized receptors embedded in their cells. Without eyes or nerves, they still see the world in wavelengths and gradients. They remember seasons, anticipate dawn, and open or close their tissues in perfect rhythm with the sky. In their own quiet way, plants are perceptive beings alive to light, time, and subtle changes that shape their survival. Chapter 13. The Unexplained. Mysteries science still whispers about. Fact 73. The wow signal, a message from the stars. In 1977, a radio telescope in Ohio detected something extraordinary: a sudden, powerful, 72-second signal coming from deep space. It matched no known satellite, planet, or human-made transmission. An astonished astronomer circled the printout and wrote one word beside it: wow. The signal came from the direction of Sagittarius, near a cluster of stars. Its frequency was precise and pure, exactly the type scientists imagine an intelligent civilization might use to communicate. But it never returned. Despite decades of listening, the sky has remained silent at that same frequency. Was it a flare, a cosmic anomaly, or a brief whisper from another world? No one knows. The wow signal sits quietly in scientific archives, a small, enigmatic reminder that the universe is wide, ancient, and possibly full of voices we have not yet learned to hear. Fact 74. Deep ocean sounds with no clear source. Beneath the crushing pressure of the deep ocean, sound travels farther and stranger than anywhere on Earth. Hydrophones placed in the Pacific and Atlantic sometimes pick up powerful, haunting noises. Long, rising moans, sudden thumps, or repeating patterns that echo across hundreds of miles. One of the most famous, the bloop, recorded in 1997, was so loud it could be heard across an entire ocean basin. At first, it baffled scientists. Some wondered whether it came from a gigantic, unknown creature. Years later, the best explanation became shifting ice, but the ocean still produces sounds we cannot fully identify. In the deep, where light cannot reach and pressure could crush steel, entire ecosystems thrive unseen. Somewhere in that darkness, strange sounds continue to rise from the depths, carrying secrets older than human memory. Fact 75: ball lightning, a glow that science still can't explain. For centuries, people have described glowing spheres drifting silently through the air during storms. They float through windows, hover above ground, or vanish with a soft pop. This phenomenon, ball lightning, has been witnessed by pilots, sailors, and villagers across the world. Yet despite thousands of reports, science still struggles to explain it. Was it plasma, burning silicon, air charged by electricity, a hallucination caused by electromagnetic fields? No one fully knows. Ball lightning is rare, unpredictable, and nearly impossible to study. In some cases, people have watched it pass through solid walls without leaving a mark. Others saw it explode with enough force to damage buildings. It is one of nature's quiet puzzles, a drifting orb of light that appears where thunder rolls, glowing for a moment, and disappearing before anyone can understand what it truly is. Fact 76: animals sense earthquakes before they strike. Moments or sometimes hours before an earthquake, animals behave strangely. Dogs bark or hide, birds take flight, fish dart in sudden patterns, horses refuse to enter barns, even insects fall silent. These behaviors have been recorded for centuries, across continents and cultures. Some scientists propose that animals detect faint vibrations humans cannot feel. Others think they sense electrical changes in rocks before they break. In some cases, entire forests have gone silent minutes before seismic waves arrived. Despite countless observations, no definitive explanation exists. Animals simply notice something we do, not something subtle, deep, and ancient, woven into their instincts. They are attuned to Earth's quiet warnings in ways we no longer are. While humans wait for technology to alert us, animals have been listening to the planet's heartbeat for millions of years. Fact 77: dark matter, invisible mass, holding the universe together. When astronomers measured how galaxies rotate, something didn't add up. They spun too fast, so fast they should have torn themselves apart. Yet they remained whole. The only explanation was that galaxies contain vast amounts of invisible matter, exerting gravity without emitting light. This mysterious substance, dark matter, makes up about 85% of the universe's total mass. We cannot see it, touch it, or detect it directly. It doesn't interact with light or radiation. Yet without it, galaxies wouldn't exist, stars wouldn't hold together, and the cosmos would unravel. Some think dark matter is made of unknown particles. Others suggest alternate forms of gravity, or even hidden dimensions. For now, it remains unseen but undeniably real, a silent scaffolding supporting the universe. The night sky glows with stars, but it is the darkness between them that holds everything in place. Fact 78: déjà vu, a glitch in memory, or something deeper. At some point, you've stepped into a room, maybe a kitchen, a street, a stairwell, and felt a strange pull of familiarity. A moment you know you've lived before. That sudden, powerful sensation is déjà vu, and its cause is still not fully understood. Some scientists believe it's a misfire in the brain memory pathways activating before perception catches up. Others think the brain briefly confuses similar experiences, weaving the present into the fabric of the past. Yet déjà vu is oddly emotional, often profound, as though a hidden part of the mind recognizes something your conscious self does not. It lasts only a heartbeat before fading, leaving behind a soft chill of curiosity. For all our understanding of the brain, déjà vu remains a quiet mystery, a moment where time feels folded, and the mind whispers, "You've been here before,